morning.
I want you all to check something out really quick.
4 days after treatment, and these pesky water hemp are on a one-way ride straight to hell, courtesy of Acuron GT. Some of these persistent little rascals were actually getting fairly tall, which makes them even harder to kill. Really, you want to spray them a little bit earlier. The smaller they are, the easier they are to take down permanently. This one, though, will probably be nice, white, and crispy in the next couple of days.
The main symptomology you're seeing on those weeds is the effect of the group 27 HPPD inhibitors. Bleaching is pretty much the telltale sign of those products. In the Acuron GT, the Callisto and bicyclopyrone group 27 chemistries are carrying the main weight of the burn down on existing weeds. The atrazine we put into addition of the Acuron GT kind of greases the wheels a little bit. And I'm sure the Roundup, although most water hemp is resistant to it, probably cannot hurt. The more chemistries you can throw on a weed, the more effective your burn down or takedown of them should be. Okay, I want to show you one more thing before we leave this field.
Look at this corn. That's as good as it can get for the end of May. This stuff is off to the races. We have got weed control, we have got fertilizer, we've got moisture, and we've got heat. I wouldn't be surprised if most of this isn't shoulder high in the next 3 weeks.
With how quickly corn grows in the heat of summer, you barely even have time to blink without missing something. Unfortunately, water hemp grows just as quickly, if not quicker. I think we may have to make some adjustments to our herbicide program. The Acuron GT has a lot of firepower, but I'm not happy with the amount of weeds we have underneath right now that we needed cleaned up with the Acuron GT. I think we need to actually do a 2-pass. My honest opinion is that we're asking way too much out of that product. We really need to have something down to hold the weed populations back. That way when we come out here with the Acuron GT, we're not asking it to take down 1 million water hemp. We just need a couple cleanups here and there. Hey, that's just the nature of the beast with farming. You only get one opportunity to do things correctly each season. You have to evaluate and move forward. We've learned that you probably need to have something down around planting time. That way you can hold all these weeds back and there's just not so much pressure come post-emerge spraying time.
Okay, that's enough dilly-dallying. I actually have to do some legitimate work. The only remaining seed boxes that have not been picked up are our Don Mario beans. Burris, who sells and services these, called me and told me they're sending an intern down here to flip or deconstruct the boxes to a smaller size for logistical shipping back to home base, which was music to my ears. The intern is coming down first thing this morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the forklift going and just move them out of the way so they have enough room to do their nice little physical exercise.
Anyone in the seed industry is familiar with the term flipping boxes. The size of these pro boxes can essentially be reduced to half if you flip all these levers and then do a little grunt work, flip the top half up and over, and then it collapses down on itself. It really depends on the shipping situation. If you got plenty of room, you don't have to deconstruct them. Burris must be getting a big load of boxes, so they want them all put back together, and they didn't ask us to do it. I gave the intern the decency of a little bit extra elbow room. When they're empty, you can actually scoot these around pretty easily. I mean, it takes a little bit of effort.
There's pretty much no chance, though, that they were going to be able to get the top ones down that I had stacked too tall without a forklift. So I took care of that. They can do the hard work from here on out, and if they need more room, they can skate these things around like hockey pucks.
I'd like to take a quick break from the action to thank the sponsor of today's video, Birch. When Allie and I found out that we were finally getting an opportunity to move out to the family farm after years of waiting, we knew it was the opportune time to upgrade our mattress. Let's be honest, we all know that a successful and not so frustrating workday always starts with a quality night of sleep on a comfortable mattress. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where Birch mattresses come in. Every Birch mattress is made from premium and sustainably sourced raw materials. All of the mattresses are allergen and mildew resistant, extremely comfortable, and fantastic at regulating temperature if you're a warm sleeper like myself. In addition to all the benefits of being ethically sourced and sustainably produced, one of the nicest things for me about the Birch mattresses is how easy the online buying experience is. You head over to Birch's website, which, by the way, they're having a 25% off sale through the 4th of July. Pick out the mattress for you, and that mattress will show up at your doorstep in just a couple of short weeks in a box ready to be moved into the room. There's no finagling that big mattress around to get it where you need. You put it in the room, you open it up, you let all that air in, the mattress is ready to go. I know what you're all probably thinking, but what if I don't enjoy the mattress? Well, here's the best part. All Birch mattresses come with a 100-night sleep trial. On top of that, they have a 25-year warranty. That's hard to beat, not to mention free shipping to anywhere in the United States. Allie and I are super excited to get moved in here to the farm to break in our new Birch mattress, and we think you would enjoy one of them as well. If you are looking for a top quality, sustainably made bed, check out Birch Living. Right now they're running their 4th of July sale. They're offering up to 25% off on their mattresses. It's a huge discount. It is an opportune time to go get yourself a new mattress and have it delivered right to your doorstep. Besides, what do you have to lose with that 100-night sleep trial and 25-year warranty if you decide to keep the mattress? Head over to birchliving.com/aTrippyFarmer to get started on your order today, or follow the link down below. Time is limited on this offer, so make sure you check it out. Thanks again to Birch for sponsoring today's video.
On to the next task, helping Chris and Jeff finish sweeping out this last corn bin over west. If I time this right, they should be done and I won't have to lift a finger. Messed that one up. Oh well, I've never been known for my timing.
For the record, those of you who think I was being serious about trying not to work, I'm literally the one who did all the heavy lifting here. I put the sweep in the previous 2 bins over the last week and drug it into this one. They started without me, but we've also got 2 loads out of it yesterday. Just gotta finish it up. If there's 2 things I'm good at, one of them is lifting heavy objects. The second thing is complaining about it. We got the easy part done. Now we got to move all the way to the south end, start emptying some small bean bins. Let's keep going. A wise man once told me, lift with your legs, not your back. An even wiser man once said, why lift with either when you can use a pickup truck? I think that was Aristotle, maybe Socrates, one of the 2, I can't remember. I'm back, 3 foot. Whoa!
These north 3 old grain bins are what we store corn in over here to the west, and then we've got these 3 smaller bins that hold about 3,300 or so bushel of beans a piece. Moving over to those while we're here. I don't know what to tell you. Aristotle was ahead of his time. Easy. I think you're good. You're good.
We need to get it somewhat square. We're not square.
Okay, after a little bit of labor, we're set up to the middle one. Like I said, these only hold about 3,200, 3,300 bushel of beans. We'll load out the door until it quits because the out augers on these are so slow that it just takes ages. So we load out the door, it's quick, just use gravity, and then we'll slowly and patiently wait for the last load to go out the auger. Then we'll put a little sweep in. Looks like the trees have grown a little bit since the last time we were set up here, so I'm gonna run home and get a pole saw, chainsaw, reach up there and cut those out of the way.
Since Jeff only got a partial load from that north corn bin, we'll just have him pull under this conveyor here and load beans on top. As long as the probe only hits beans, technically they'll think the whole load is beans. Beans are worth more than corn per bushel, so that's a pretty good arbitrage. Nah, just kidding, I got jokes. That'd be borderline fraudulent. We would never do that.
I mentioned in the last video where I was working here how that new 48-foot bin we're building at the main farm literally will hold more corn than all of these could combined. Well, I don't know if the harvesters would take us over that amount, but the principle still stands that this new big bin we're building technically could replace all of these. These are not the most fun bins to empty. They don't hold a lot compared to some of our bigger storage sites. At the same time though, they're paid for, they keep grain in good quality. It's kind of wasteful just to throw them to the wayside just because you've got newer things that are more convenient. They paid for themselves decades ago, and it doesn't take much of a price rally with grain in these bins to pay for them multiple times over in one season, because these were a lot cheaper to build when they were built than the new ones we're putting up now. While Jeff takes that load to the elevator, I'm gonna go get that pole saw and clean up those limbs that are kind of obstructing our loading area. Looks like the Burris intern's here flipping those Don Mario boxes. Maybe he'll help me load that pole saw up. I know Dad's not gonna be much help. He's still nursing that rotator cuff surgery healing process. Neighbors to the west are side dressing some nitrogen with anhydrous ammonia. Based on how friendly our forecast has been for the last couple of weeks, not a bunch of huge rains, been able to get out in the field, most farmers will be pretty much done taking care of their corn until fungicide season comes. There will be some post-bean spraying starting to kick off here in the next couple weeks, but that's a little bit down the road. Not a Honda, it's a Steel. Might as well get some eye protection on. Don't think the safety squints are going to be enough for flying wood. Right as I started cutting those down, Jeff showed up to lend an extra hand, dragging that away. Craziest thing happened while I was out there with that pole saw. It looked like a group of rogue termites cut a perfect wedge in that tree, leading it even closer to those bins. It's safe to say that until harvest, we're essentially done with these 3 north corn bins. Chris, Jeff, and I will work on those 3 south bean bins for the remainder of the week and probably into next week. Hopefully we'll get those done before the temperature really upticks too much, because it's a lot more fun cleaning a bin out when it's 75 or 80 versus 95 or 100. We've done that before. It's not the most enjoyable thing. One of the more peculiar things that's happened on our farm this year is that we've had 2 electric out-auger motors go bad on us. They were both on these Shivers drying bins. They were motors that have probably been in use for 35 or 40 years, I really don't know, a long time. And they both quit on the same exact year, which is baffling. We replaced the one back at the main farm with a brand new motor. While Dad provided oversight, I removed the motor off of this one. We got this other one on here. We have extra motors laying around, so it's not hard to find one that'll work. What we did not realize when we stole this from another bin and brought it over here was that the flighting on this Shivers bin is actually reverse, meaning that the normal way most of our out-augers spin actually screws the grain back in, causing this to not work. We learned, though, how to rewire one of these motors without too much issue. Obviously, the first step in the process is to make sure that the motor is unplugged. You can see that dangling cord right there, ensures that's the case. I may butcher the terminology here because I'm not an electrician. All of our power at the main farm is 3-phase, which is a pretty nice luxury to have for those of you who are familiar with how that stuff works. Everything on the rest of our bin sites is single-phase. This motor is wired for single-phase power, so we just have to flip a few wires around to change the direction or the polarity of the motor. All an electric motor is some copper wiring wound in a bundle to create a magnetic field. It spins a magnetic rotor in the middle to generate force. Directional force depending on which way it's wired. There you have all of your wiring right there. There's just 2 wires you have to switch to different locations, and then you have a properly wired bin for the correct direction. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. We actually ran over to York Bin Co. in Strasbourg and asked them how to switch the direction when we had the issue pop up. They said that you just switch the 5 and 8 wire. That probably means something to a lot of you. To me, that means just change the wire that says 5 and the wire that says 8 to a different location in the bundle. You can see this wire says 5, so we'll undo this cap. I'm probably gonna need both hands, hold on. Nope, I got it. Pull the 5 wire out of the way. Pull the 1 wire out of the way. And then this bundle is the other set. This one's 3 wires. I may need both hands. No, I did it again with one hand. Look at that. There's the 8. You may not be able to tell, but they're actually labeled. So here's our 5. And all we do is move the 8 to where the 5 was and the 5 to where the 8 was and put them back together, and it'll be the opposite. That should be reversed. I'll just let someone else be the one to flip the switch for the first time. That's really the most important part. Stand there with a 2x4 while they check your electrical wiring. We sent the old motor off to a motor repair shop. I don't know if they'll be able to get it fixed. It looked like it was in pretty rough shape. Sometimes they can rewind it, sometimes they just scrap them. We're going to take this one off because it's reverse flighting and we don't want to have to change it every time we move over here. We're just going to get a new motor that will keep on here permanently that spins the appropriate direction. Chris is going to flip the breaker. I'm going to sit here and watch. Should turn that way, I think. Yeah, we'll just take it off and put it in the pickup truck because that'll go on a lot of other bins. We move our motors around for the most part. Yeah, we'll put it in the red pickup. We use this motor on about 5 or 6 other bins over east of the main farm, so it's nice to have it the right direction. Gonna load it in the red pickup with Chris. That way it's ready to go to the next destination when we go haul corn somewhere else. On to the next task on the list. Sometime this afternoon, we have a new piece of equipment showing up that Dad and I have daydreamed about having for a long time, and the day's finally come. We found one, we're adding it to our farm. I'm gonna need the 7330, which looks like it's going to entail moving the loader tractor to get to. I could probably squeeze it through there. I'm not really feeling that exceptional at my job right now, so we'll move them. I don't even know what time our new piece of equipment's supposed to show up. Just gonna leave the 7330 parked out here at the farm and he'll be ready to go for whenever the trailer comes. Dad having his shoulder worked on and adding a sprayer operation has really crunched our time this spring and summer. I really need to get these floater tires inside. I don't like how there's water sitting in the rim. Just not great for keeping the rust off of them. On top of that, we also need to get the batwing mower hooked up and start mowing roadsides. Mowing roadsides is probably the most useless thing that we do on our farm. It's a waste of grass, but got to keep up with everyone else. Those north of town farmers already have everything mowed down and weed eated around the poles and sprayed. Us poor southerners, we barely got anything done. The loader tractor already has a small 6-foot bush hog on it. We do a little bit of mowing with that. The majority of our work though is done with that John Deere R15 batwing mower and the old 7800. Every year is different. A lot of times Jeff does the majority of the mowing here with that setup. Obviously he's hauling corn and beans right now. That's more of a priority to get that out. We focus on the mowing once that's all empty. I'm doing a variety of different things. If I could commit to just one thing, like pulling a truck and a grain trailer with them, the grain would be hauled sooner and the mowing would also get done sooner. At the same time, I've got a lot of sprayer stuff to work on, so kind of trying to juggle all that at one time. Okay, it's been a few hours since I last checked in with you all. I've been running around doing various things, including going back and helping at the bean bin a little bit. It's about mid-afternoon on Friday. Our new piece of equipment is showing up here in the next 20 or 30 minutes. We were expecting it to come on a lowboy, and we're gonna pick it off with that 7330. I guess it's coming on a gooseneck that sits a little higher, which may make that challenging. I'm going to try and put the forks on the loader here, take the bucket off, put the forks on, and maybe we can go under, pick it up, and they can drive out. If we need a lift assist, we can go grab the backhoe and maybe pull up the other end if it's necessary. We'll see what happens. I stepped in some rotten beans over at that bean bin, and let me tell you, that is one of the most unholy scents I have ever smelled. I'm probably gonna have to burn these boots. Marty's here to supervise, which is welcome because we may need some help here. Hopefully we don't need more than 2 hands. I'm sure his doctor would approve of this. Buckets off, now time to get the prongs. implement to show up.
Holy moly, I gotta get out of that enclosed cab. I'm sure there's many things that could possibly rival the smell of very rotten beans. It's not a competition I really want to witness. Oh my gosh. Please get that scent off.
One of these days they're going to show up and do the concrete work for the new bin. Just not exactly sure when, and the boss, my dad, also is not sure when. They've got the gravel here, so it shouldn't be too long. The unfortunate part is that all of our major farm equipment is blocked in this shed right now. If we needed to get it out, we could push the gravel out of the way, but we're not going to mess with it, especially because we actually have a pretty darn good looking stand of crops right now, and anything we have to redo will be minimal.
That last comment is a perfect tie-in for what we're about to unload. You guys are going to be thrilled. It's going to be the coolest thing ever.
Here it comes. We're Team Kinze now. Everything's gonna be blue by next year. This is gonna be a little replant planter for us. I'm surprised we got it unloaded. It was supposed to come on a low boy, and we're just gonna pick it up with a 7330, but it came on a higher gooseneck, which was kind of inconvenient. We only almost dropped it off the trailer twice trying to get it, but we got it.
Needless to say, we're big timing it now. My apologies, it's been a few days. I got tied up while we were working on unloading the new planter. One thing led to another. Next thing you know, it's Memorial Day weekend. I don't remember much from that. And now we are here on the Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend, and I'm going to finish my thoughts about this 8-row planter. I'm sure that many of you are perplexed why we're so excited to have an 8-row mounted old school planter when we have such high capacity and very technologically advanced planters sitting in the shed. The issue really comes down to size. Those big planters are great when you're planting a field for the first time, you're covering large amount of acreage. However, when it comes time to spot in areas where water stood or you just did not have good emergence for one reason or another, those big planters work against you. A 60-foot planter with all 8 wheels that go across the ground destroys a lot of good crops to get to a spot that may only be 10 or 20 foot long and 30 foot wide. That's where the 8-row planter comes in. It's something that we've dreamt about having for many years. We've borrowed a neighbor's 4-row planter to plant our sweet corn patch and spot in some corn here and there for the last few years, and decided that if we found one that was good enough, we're gonna go ahead and pull the trigger. Fortunately for us, Barker Implement over in Middlesworth or Shelbyville had this 8-row mounted Kinze planter. It's exactly what we were looking for, although maybe prefer some green, but it should do exactly that. And we also have soybean units to put on there, so we can also spot in soybeans, which is probably what it's going to do first.
We got it off the trailer, moved it over there, unhooked it, got it out of the way. We should be hooking back up to it here at the tail end of this week to go spot in some soybeans. I don't know why my Uncle Bill has his truck parked out there. Maybe it's for sale. Who knows? There was one last thing I wanted to do before I took off. I didn't get to it, so we're going to do it right now, and that is rinse the Hagee off. Solution tank has been thoroughly cleaned. I captured all of the actual fully mixed chemical into some totes for storage. We may apply some of that with a hand sprayer if we see some spots get a little haywire. For the most part, we'll save all that for next season. I then did a triple rinse, sprayed some of that out, and then once I was happy with how clean it was, I blew the rest of the water out on the ground. Tanker's clean as well, followed the same protocol. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens when we spray our first field of soybeans, because that's where you can really tell how good of a job you did cleaning. Would you look at that? The classic spent 45 minutes on it, and yet you can still hardly tell it was even washed. Look, I've pretty much mastered that one. I'd say that's just the nature of the beast with trying to clean off a sprayer. It's probably got umpteen different chemicals coated on the boom. It's going to be hard to get some of those off without some pretty strong detergent, or even a heated pressure washer wouldn't hurt. Other than topping off the fuel tank and changing tips, we're pretty much ready to move on to post-emerge bean spraying. That may be something that we try to tackle in the next video.
Once the crop's in the ground and off to a good start, things kind of get very sporadic with what I'm doing. I can be spraying one day in a grain bin the next, scouting the next day. There's just a variety of things you have to do when you're both a manager and a laborer on a farm. Farming is a very rewarding job. At the same time, it can be very challenging. If you want to see some more of those challenges, make sure you check out the next episode, because that's going to be it for me. As always, I greatly appreciate every single one of you continuing to tune in and support the channel. Your viewership means the world to me. Catch you all in the next episode. Until then, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!